Hey, what's up? I am working on a tool that I'm calling Monorail to help me with my MonoGame development. Sorry, the keyboard's gonna click a lot during this because I am not really set up to stream very well, but I figured I'd do it anyways. Anyways, I'm trying to make an Electron app that will monitor a folder and then will basically update my MonoGame content builder file with the kind of like default stuff that you would normally get for those things. So it's really just a file watcher with some extra stuff in it, and then I'm hoping once I get that kind of core down, I can add in some additional like UI components and things to just speed up my MonoGame development workflow. So right now I just have a base project set up with the Electron quick start stuff, and I'm going to go through. Basically, I'm going to add this as instead of having a window pop up initially, I'm going to actually pop up a tray icon and just have this run in the tray to start. So I'm just going to be updating some stuff. I'm not going to talk through the whole thing, but normally you have this set up the window, but create tray, and we need to import tray. I'm leaving the window stuff in there because I might need it later and I don't want to have to look it up. I don't really have any linters or anything turned on, and I'm mostly just going to hack the heck out of this thing, so do not use this as a example of great coding. Pulled in the MonoGame icon for this. Mostly I just need to get this so that I have a way to shut it down, and well, an easy way to shut it down, and to yeah, anyways. Context menu. I'm just pretty much copying this straight out of the documentation, so why don't I just straight up copy it? Mostly I need an exit. Radio. That's not what I need. I don't need a radio button. Unless, and I do need to remember how to set up a click event on that. Hopefully I've done this before recently, so I'm just gonna go look up some reference materials for a clipboard manager that I was doing in class. So I was teaching some classes earlier this year. Tray. Type is normal. And I need click. I can pass in a come on. Okay, and that's all I should need to get the tray going. I'm just gonna go ahead and not do that. I'm gonna run this. And I'm gonna test on my side that, ooh, no, blows up. Create tray. Oh my gosh. I guess I need to make that a function, don't I? Good. I've got the, you can't really see it, but I have the MonoGame symbol in the bottom of my thing with a little exit, and I close it. Poof, done. Good. Good to go on that. So so the next thing I need to do is I need to sort of actually add in kind of a file watcher deal that runs. I don't know much about Node's file watcher, but I know it has one because I've looked at this before. Node file watcher. I'm just gonna go and Google it and look around for it. File watcher, fs.watch. So FS Watcher. FS Watch creates a, can enter a file name, which I assume also refers to as a directory path. Yeah, file or directory. Encoding I don't care about. I know you can't really see what I'm doing here, but I'm mostly looking up something to start at the bottom here. So I'm gonna need to bring in file system module. And right now I'm just gonna have a hard-coded path here to my desktop, and I'm going to do fs.watch. Actually, I'm going to do this higher. Update that. This I actually don't want to do. Anyways, I'm gonna need to have something I suppose on shutdown of this, but so fs.watch, and I'm gonna pass that in. I think I don't need to escape it if I use those. Watch my desktop. Options. Persistent indicates whether the process should continue running long as files are being watched. Recursive. Subdirectories watch only. Yes, I want recursive. Encoding specifies them now. So and then listener, so we get a function with arguments of e-type and file name. Don't know why it's doing it like that. Oh gosh. Oops, I do error now for some reason instead of log because I can't actually type use error or log on my work machine because the linter gets mad. So I use error regularly. And I'm going to go with that just to see. And the other thing I want to do is look at electron exit event. So there's got to be like a before quit. So I just need to go and look at app events for Electron in their documentation. Events before quit. Will quit when all emitted when the application will start closing windows, calling prevent default windows all close. Quit when shut down restart system, and that's fine. I just run normal app dot on quit. Let's just close. That should be good. So now if I do this, I should start getting logs down here whenever I do stuff on the desktop. There it is, new. It's the event text, new text. Let's go with RTF, new rich text. So they're actually telling me what, oh no, I see. This is new, the name of it is rich text document, derp. So now if I delete those, I get rename of them. Now if I do something in here, I should see a rename of monorail test and then a change. I don't really need to know if every time that it changes, but I suppose I could just rerun whatever I'm gonna run on those and debounce it. So okay, so they'll tell you that something in the directory has changed and that there was a rename for the thing when it's deleted, which is kind of weird. I suppose it's renamed to go into the trash. I wonder if you can put a filter on that or not. So this won't work well on Linux according to the docs. Listener callback. Rename change. Nope, that's just it. Most platforms rename is omitted whenever a file name appears in the directory. Listener callback attached to change event. Okay. So one thing I do is I don't necessarily want this to be the directory that I want this to actually ask me for directory. Eventually I'll have it so that it'll launch with args, I suppose. And maybe I can make this as a replacement for the actual MonoGame pipeline tool. But for now, I want to look at the picker for Electron's open directory or open file. wonder if it's just their dialogue. Yeah, show dialogue. So we'll go ahead and bring that in here. And we go dialogue, run that here. Dialogue dot show open, and optional browser window, don't need that. Options object title. I really should just have them open the a MonoGame content builder file to watch, and then just set the directories based on that. So the current directory it's in plus surrounding, because that's normally the setup that people use. I mean, you could have it target other directories, but if you have your content in one directory, Wyatt, and really I need to just have this get my, be close to what I need for my own workflow. Although I think it'd be cool to release this onto itch if other people would find it useful. MonoGame content builder, MGCB. Select. Default path, I don't really care at this point. Button label. Custom confirmation, nah. Filters, file filters. And this is an array of filters, which are just an object of name. MonoGame. What is it actually called when you do that? I wonder. I don't know. MonoGame pipeline tool or something like that. Sure, why not? Extensions is an array of strings. I wonder if I have to include the period. It's always confusing whether you need to include the period when you're listing out extensions. Oh my gosh, come on. Alright, so that one is good. And let's see here. Next up is properties. Open file. Oh, this is actually a string of different properties, just one. Open file. Can't open directory. Multi-select, no. Show hidden files. Create directory. Prompt to create. No. No resolved aliases. Treat package as directory. No. Message to display above input boxes. Security scope bookmarks. No. Alright. So I have to do this after I get that, so I want to put this watcher into a callback. Like I did with the assume I'll have to put some sort of log the file paths here. Or does this return? No, it uses a callback. The callback's optional, so... Oh, well, I could have just done it synchronously. What am I doing? I'll just send this back. I wonder if you provide a callback, if it makes it asynchronous and doesn't block or not. Filters. Oh, there's not a period in there. Using all double quotes. What am I missing here? So, I see. Probably should be down a layer. And file paths. Oh, I actually don't need, this is the actual file itself. Well, I might have to use that later. MonoGame content builder file name. But I also need to grab the directory in which I'm going to use the path module for that. Name. Don't really know what I'm going to need that GCB file for yet, but I will probably need it at some point here. And move this back down here and move watcher up like I have the file window, just in case I need to, for the tray. Well, let's give this a go. If I've done this all correctly, I should have... Oh, I never shut the thing down. If I did it all correctly, I should have it... Yeesh, nope. Dialog only after the app is ready. Oh, okay. So, I cannot put this down in here. I have to put it in my on ready callback. gonna refactor this because I hate indentation with a passion. This will cause it to circumvent if that returns false. All right. Let's try this again. Properties must be an array. It doesn't say an array, it says string. It must be an array of strings, apparently. Try that out. All right, cool. Open that up. Oh, I gotta find the content directory. Perfect. Now I didn't see the console log come through, which was, oh, I removed it. Well, that would explain it. I'll see if I get the output of, nope. So that did not work. Ooh, why am I speaking so softly? I do not know. Console.log file paths 0. Oh, derp. That's because I need to make a new file in here. Yeah, there we go. Rename something, .png, good. All right, so that works. Clean these two up. Actually, why at this point? All right. No. Just gonna make a quick commit. And I'm just doing master base here because why not? It's just me working on it. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't want that because the tray is what I care about, not the thing itself. All right. So the next step is I have files being watched in the directory I want to do. Now I think one of the things I need to do is build up a model of this content directory. So I'm just going to take a very, very simple scenario and automate it. So here I'm going to say I drop in nope. I suppose that fell off the bottom of the stream. Move this into the middle of my screen now. So if I drop in a random sprite into here, then I want it to add it to that file for me. So now you can't see the dialog that pops up because I'm not sharing my screen here, but okay, so I go there and I drop this sprite into my reference folder. You'll see it gives rename sprite PNG, change sprite PNG. So the rename is the actual move to the file. Change is the just, I think it's existence or whatever in that directory, I'm guessing. So I needed to actually go through and do this exact process where, let me go ahead and open up the actual MonoGame tool quick, and I will see if I can switch over to my desktop for that. Yeah. All right, so this is the workflow that I've been following, is to actually open up this stupid tool. And there isn't like a way that I can tell to be like, just add everything in the directory. And you can't drag and drop into here either, from what I can tell. If I do this, everything's just nope. So I'll go like add existing item. I grab the sprite, and now it's in here, and I save that. And then you see if I build, puts the bin folder with the XNB and whatever file, all that stuff in here. I did not know that this gets created. Source file collection. Ooh. This could actually be very useful. Well, maybe. If it told me a reading of what the XNB files were, I'd be able to grab that out better. And just create like a loader, but anyways. So that all got put in there. You can see all those events got in and popped. I'll have to add some sort of like ignore, I think, to this to say, you know, ignore specific files for the specifically like the bin and obj directories. In fact, I might as well even just, I can set that up probably based off of the content of this directly, because you can see in here the output directory and intermediate directories are listed out. So I should be able to parse this file and say, okay, ignore whatever you've set as the output directory and whatever you've set as the input or intermediate directory, excuse me. But this is the part that I need to generate. So I drop in sprite.png. It generates this. Now I'm not going to differentiate. I'm just going to go strict. What's the stupidest, easiest possible way I can do this? The rename thing, I'm just going to have to, well, okay. So, I'm going to create a module called MonoGame Content Builder.js. I have to remember the require or common JS way to do this. Module.exports. And what this will do, I'm going to need something to go through and grab the file and load it up and that. So probably create this as like a class. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna just strictly keep it as MonoGame Content Builder file. So what this will do is it will create one of these. After probably doing some initial parsing on it anyways. I'm trying to again keep this fairly straightforward at this point. Oh, I should have switched back to my code. I suppose you've seen a little bit of it in the corner here. Anyways, one of the things that this does is when the values that you're adding in here or in the content builder file is actually a texture importer, and this is kind of your standard stuff. I mean, when you're doing this stuff, I think for real, you probably play with these things pretty heavily, which is why a UI is helpful. If you know what you're looking for, you can go in here, but you know the options that you're given in the tool help you make some decisions. But I'm just going to assume that I want to just bring it in as if I had imported it like that. So I'm going to literally copy this exact text out into that class that I just made. I'm going to call it add texture. Now I really have to think about this in terms of I'm loading up like a set of data based off of the file name keys. So if I have let's just say a data object, and I do something like, and it's actually an array, because these are considered what in that content. And I just do this.content.push. I literally copy the string in that we're going to be pasting in. This will put a bunch of stuff in I don't want. And I can clean this up later. Because I believe this does it. Okay, add in those file names, and now it's not just that I need to do, I need to actually think about, well no, the simplest possible thing I can do is just say, want to add the texture with the file name, and then I will have to have something to remember. I start with this being an empty. Now that I've got that, I can go ahead and just remove that that file. And I can read this file into start and then just tack it onto the bottom for now to produce this. So you can see there's my deal. So I should just have a write file. And I'm going to make this promise paste. I need to pre-concat all that data in. So when I read it, I'm going to have some sort of header data that I'll have. And then I will have the content that I've pushed in. And actually, I do want a blank file line there. And another blank one at the end, probably. White space never hurt nobody. Trying to be clever, and that's not going to work for me. So to get that header, I'm going to have to read the file contents to start, which I do not remember. I believe it's just fs read file. And I'll have to do some parsing later, but I'm going to actually move this down into the question is can I so when I load this up, I'm going to do a wish these were already based on promises. I don't know why they're not. Maybe there's like a library that does it that way. fs.read file. I think I need to provide an encoding, which I believe these will be UTF-8 encoded. Maybe not. I'll just try it without it. this should be exactly what I think it's going to be. So I'm going to change this from return this to and so I'm going to do this parse, which I'm going to put down here. And you know what, to keep these things kind of separate, I'm going to put some underscores to just kind of make this, designate this as kind of like a private thing that you're not supposed to do. So it should have a so I need to get basically everything until I wonder if JavaScript has something like a take while. JavaScript array methods. I want to I don't think there is such a thing as take until I mean, I could probably do a reduce where I keep going until I reach when I find it, and then I set something to say don't include anymore. Or you know what I could do for now is say let's not do any of this because it's more than I needed to do, and I'm just going to assume that this dot header does the data because it's empty, right? I return true, it was successful, that completes. I should have the data in there, and then I'm just checking something here on my phone quick. Oh man. I'm not going to share that. That's just funny though. All right. So my process will be to load this file up. I will then add the texture when it comes in, but I only want to do it once. So really I should have this based on not as an array so much as maybe a map or a dictionary, right? And then I can go content at file name. That way I can dedupe pretty easily. And not worry about removals yet. And that header should be the data I've read in. I write it all out to the file here. I'm not passing the data here. oh yeah, because I have to generate the data, which is basically header plus my keys. This dot header dot concat all of the contents, then reduce. And I always get screwed up in the order of aggregate or reduce within these stupid things because I do C# a lot with this. Initial value is after, not before. So the accumulator and the current. Accumulator plus the current value. And actually, it's not even like that. I can just do this. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but and I've included new lines in there, so I shouldn't need to do that. Actually, I don't even need to do the header because I can give the header as the initial value. There's probably like a join. Yeah, join. That makes this a lot easier. Yeah, so I don't need to do that. We do this just content dot join, and I'll just throw the header on the front, or do that back where I did before. Cat values and then join. That should be good. Okay, back to my main. I'm gonna add some logging in here just for later. So that log data. All right. So when I load this up, I'm going to get the MonoGame file path. I then create a watcher. I'm going to assume that I have a proper file here. So I'm doing the file actions there anyways. So I want to set this up before I start watching, obviously. Getting a little bit of then I just need to set callbacks to functions in here to do the things I need. So event type equals, so rename is a move, and then there's change, which I don't know, change was to the actual thing itself. Exit out the current one. Well, I'll just go basically off of rename. And then I will call, for now, just simply MonoGame content builder dot mcgb file dot what did I call that? Add texture. Add texture. Which gives me the relative file name, which is fine because that's what I want. And I'm just going to say mgb. Care about what happens at this point. Well, let's see what happens. Parse MC file is not defined. Oh, because I have to do this dot parse whatever. And resolve is not undefined. Oh, because I called it. Man, JavaScript is hard to write consistent code in. Alright, so far so good. So I'm sitting here watching. Now if I drop Sprite into my content folder, I got some unhandled promise rejection. So that actually printed out correctly. But then callback must be a function. Oh, I must have messed up the result of something here. So I'll go ahead and just kill this, remove the sprite, and figure out what that error was. Oh man, I hate when Visual Studio Code does that. I don't know if I'm deleting what I'm deleting. 16 must be a function. So it's writing the file. I wonder if I'm missing a parameter to write file. I think I need an encoding. No. Oh, derp. I know I needed the data. I forgot to actually pass the data. Okay. There. I won't have to, I don't really want to write the file every time, I suppose, but really you're going to be doing those kinds of actions kind of atomically, aren't you? Like, you're not going to be dumping a bunch of data. I suppose you could drop a whole file and it cause it to just crash, but I can handle that later. Okay, so if I did this correctly, this file, hey, look at that, except for that comma, which is in there, why? Oh, it's probably the join, because I want the join to go I'm going to kill this. And I am going to check the file. Yep, that all worked. Exclude. Delete that. Okay, so now I just have to fix that little bug with the join, which I'm assuming the join, it's the join, is probably comma delimiting by default, because I certainly didn't add a comma anywhere. I just want to do that. Okay. So, and there was a little bit of extra file space. I'm just going to go like that and say that everything adds the things on the bottom. Let's kick this off one more time, and then I'm going to call it good for right now. All right, so we've got our content references brought in. I drop in the sprite into the reference folder. That all comes through. We look here, and if I refresh the MonoGame content builder tool, oh, they don't have like a refresh from disk, it's not really monitoring it. Then you can see that it accurately put it actually put it in there the way I'd expect it to. So, yeah, that is basically what I want to happen. Now I have to handle all of the, what happens if it's deleted? So I have to say, which, you know, what does happen. Let's go ahead and try that once while it's still running. Because it should be a change. I probably will get some sort of See, it still thinks it's there. So what I have to do is say, well, if the file was changed, check, is the file there or has it been removed? Or sorry, renamed. I assumed it was renamed. I have to go back here. Yeah, so it was renamed. Let me look at the full log here. So here was my last change. See, renamed. So really I have to do, does it exist or not? So if I put it back in, then I'm back where I started. But now I'm going to kill this really quick. I'm going to add this in there. And I am going to say, if I've added, and now this is going to get a little hairy, so content builder file and file. Some extracting here. All right, so I've got my add the texture. Really what I need to do is say fs.exists sync. Do I really care? Because I can make this asynchronous. Oh no, but file system crap. I'm already in an asynchronous, well, finishing up an asynchronous thing anyways. Actually, I don't need to remove, I just need to remove file. It doesn't really matter what type of file it is. And it's just really, call it remove content, and it should just be don't know if I need to do the if check in there. I'll just leave it in because why not? Sure, delete's a more expensive operation. I'll change this to add texture content. And go back here. And I might just make this eventually like add content and then have it based on the file name extension. We'll go through and figure out what proper thing it's supposed to do. So we'll kick this off and see what happens when I delete it. So I've added it, and then I delete it. I'm still getting it in there. Sprite.png. I wonder if it's well. Or this isn't processing correctly. Try it again. And actually I need to redo that because I gotta start from blank. All right, drop sprite in, and that time it didn't add it. Remove content, add texture content, remove content. Did I save everything? Yes. Process rename. MonoGame content if exists sync. Oh, duh, because it's a relative file name. I need the actual full-on file path. So I've got directory to watch here. I should be able to do just path.join with file name. I suppose I could strip it out over here if I really wanted to do it that way, or just leave it, but all right, let's try this again. So currently it's in there and it's not part of my file. Come on. So I will remove it before I oh, and of course I'm not like actually showing the code very well because I'm not looking at my VS Code. All right, so I drop sprite into reference directory. I get nothing still. I drop it out. And nothing. So, what is going on? No, derp. I added it and then I didn't. Just give that a simpler name. All right, let's give this one more go. Yeah, texture content is not a function. Good. At least try to do something. Context. Ugh. Content. Why static analysis sometimes, or type systems are awesome. All right. And I would write this in C#, but I want electron for a very specific reason. Mostly because it's cross-platform and the UI is simpler than pretty much everything else. So there, added it, and it removed it. Sweet. All right, cool. Well, that does what the very first things I needed to do. I wonder if I need to remove this stuff. I'm going to change my getIgnore to exclude that. That I don't edit these very often. Reference J. Good. That took care of it. All right, that's all I'm going to do for today. So